This is your episode. You have to take the lead.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's not the energy you're coming
Why?
in with. This is a theme park. We're like on a roller coaster.
Good afternoon.
I really want you to get closer to that mic as well. I just don't feel like you're coming through.
I fucking absolutely am.
Watch that entire cold open be useless because you couldn't be heard. See, now you're coming through a lot better.
It's because I've aimed it better. And
Oh, great. So I'm glad I've got 11 minutes of not aimed well mic.
It'll be fine. Just fucking run it through Adobe
Let me guess. Put PI after it and press enter.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's not the energy. Fuck it. Play the intro. Watch me use none of that thing, and I just use that.
It's meandering movies. It's meandering movies. It's meandering movies. So won't you lend an ear?
Welcome back, everyone.
No, you said I was doing it.
Oh, okay, you can do it. Yeah.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Meandering Movie Podcast, a podcast where two interesting and well-educated men discuss the intricacies of film, TV, and the abject horror of living day to day.
Are those two people showing up later on to the podcast?
That's us.
That's not us.
I'm Gary Copeland Boyd.
I'm the flight attendant who steals your poo out of the toilet, Gavin Stewart.
I'm not even going to comment on that one. Let's just crack on.
Just
Today,
run on through.
We're talking. I recently attended Disney World, like it's a convention that I had to go to.
I recently attended Disney World.
I recently went to Disney World in Florida.
By recently, you mean like 7 or 8 months ago?
Yeah. Time's a mess.
Like November 2023.
Yeah, it feels recent.
Currently, while we record this, it's the end of April, but you won't
Don't tell people that.
You'll be hearing this at the end of May.
Don't tell people.
And by that point, one of us will be a father. Which one? Tune in to find out in June.
The baby's not coming until October 31st. I told you this.
You're lying to me.
I'm not.
I will contact your pregnant wife.
July 1st.
I think it's the end of May, middle to end of May. When this episode, while you listen to this, Gary might be a dad. Or not, because I don't know, because he won't tell me when the baby is coming.
July 1st.
So Gary might be about to become a dad.
In another month, I'll be a dad.
No, but when this comes out, like think about when this comes out.
This comes out in May.
End of May, this is coming out.
June.
Uh-huh.
Baby in July.
No, I don't think the baby's in July, though.
Okay.
I guess we'll find out.
We went to Florida and then Gav said, man, tell me about some of the movie rides. Did I talk about this on mic?
Did I talk about the Fast and Furious
ride, right?
2 episodes ago we talked about Fast and Furious ride.
And Gav was like, why don't we talk about more movies and their rides? And I was like, that's a good fucking idea. And then Gav did some research and I didn't do any research. So we are going to talk about movies.
Do you know why I did research?
Because you knew I wouldn't.
Is because one, you have been on a lot of these theme park rides that are based on movies, which is what we're talking about today. And two, I've been on none of them. So
you needed to contribute something.
All I can contribute is the movie. You can contribute the ride and the movie. And then we're going to go on a ride together through this topic.
Oh,
Yay!
that was good.
I got bits and gags.
So there's 3 main ride types, I guess.
Yeah.
You've got classic coaster, of which there aren't many there's a couple actually. Not a lot though of like just movies turned into roller coasters.
Yeah.
Because the whole vibe of a roller coaster doesn't really do well.
Is it here in the UK there was a Hulk one, or there is a Hulk one?
That's in America.
Is that in America?
But it's based off the comic, not the films.
Right. Because was it Universal?
Yeah, it's at Universal Studios.
Right, yeah. And that was like a roller coaster.
In Marvel Land. Even though that belongs to Disney, but it's allowed to exist. But they're not allowed to update any of the characters or costumes or any of the theming in the world.
See, this is why
Universal are currently just like milking it for as long as possible while the Marvel train's going, and then the moment the bubble bursts, the Universal will be like, we're updating the land now.
We're updating it into what's ever popular right now land.
But if you go, like, so Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Captain America, they're all in their 90s costumes, and the costumes are fucking
haggard.
They are like, don't get me wrong, the Green Goblin one's still like, you can tell they're still working on it because they have to. But yeah, man, those costumes are looking old and tattered.
Are the costumes like stationary, or they're like little robot inside, like moving about?
What's a guy? What
Or is it a guy in the costume?
the fuck are you talking about? A little robot?
Like, like an animatronic, like in the old Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
They're not on the rides, Gav. It's just walking around the park. You can get a photo with Green Goblin.
I
and
thought you
stuff.
meant like while you're like waiting in the queue, they're like little animatronic, like Spider-Man and Hulk.
Oh, right, okay, no. So the Spider-Man ride, you walk through the Daily Bugle, and it's
Right.
all themed along the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Right.
It's fucking incredible.
I can imagine you were like being transported back to your youth.
It really was. It was fucking so cool. But yeah, so wait, sorry. With
Look
roller
at us
coasters.
meandering.
Roller coasters. The second type of ride is the 3D. Like you're in a little vehicle, you drive through an area.
Like for the longest time was the most prominent one because that's where technology was like at its peak for rides. Like, sit here and we're gonna have like a movie play in front of you, and like a 4DX in the cinema.
40X, but like the peak 40X.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is that in Universal. The Transformers one is probably the best version of that you're gonna get. Like it's so good. And then there's like walkthroughs and drive-through rides, which are, like I spoke about, Fast and Furious.
Dog shit.
Just dog shit. Interestingly, yes and no, right? We'll get to it because Fast and Furious was dog shit, and then King Kong was really fucking good.
But is King Kong like you're walking through and then there's like a big screen and he's like coming up? I did a lot of research to try to learn about
No,
this
it's
shit.
the same as Fast and Furious. It's the same. You're sitting on a bus, and it drives through, and it goes through the exact same, almost the exact same as like what you did on Vin Diesel's Fast and Furious ride, but it just lends itself far better to the Kong experience because it's inside caves and Kong's massive, rather than like, oh, the cars are on the other side of you. Look, there's a CGI rock, and do you feel like you're in a Fast and Furious film? No, I feel like I'm sitting on a bus.
I feel like I'm just like on the X3 going to the city centre. Like,
So I don't know. What do you want to talk about first? Oh, sorry. And actually, that's the three main types of rides. So which one do you want to do? You want to do roller coasters? I feel like there are the least amount of roller coasters based on rides.
well, what I want to start off with is I want to mine your experience from these theme park rides to try and figure out what was the best ride based upon a movie.
Whoa! It's Relinda.
No,
What's Relinda doing? You're not speaking?
Relinda doesn't have a mic today.
Oh, what's that? What's that thing on the top? It just popped out.
It's
It's like a little, like a ray gun. Oh! Holy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. Rolinda has just popped out like a little ray gun. It was aiming directly at Gav. I can only say the energy from Rolinda is like angry.
Aggressive.
And Gav has shrunk down to he's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He's like on the table. One sec, guys. I'm going to go move his mic down for him so he can keep the episode going. Oh. Hey, get on a little, Gav.
Gotta help. Help. Relinda made me really tiny. When's she gonna make me?
She's gone. Holy shit. So she came in, shrunk Gav.
I'm tiny now. I can see the arms. I'm like Ant-Man. Oh no.
Do you want to keep recording? Are you okay?
That guy from the third one's here and he's trying to beat up a lady in front of me. Oh no, it's awkward. The guy, what was his name? The guy from
Kang?
Kang's here and he's just weirdly just attacking all of the female like workers on the film set. He's just help. I'm so tiny. I'm so small. Wait, I can feel myself getting big. Oh, it was temporary. It was a temporary ray gun attack.
And now I'm getting back to... I'm normal again. I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I got really tiny like Ant-Man, but now I'm back in the room. And I don't know if any of that worked.
I'm going to keep referencing the fact you're tiny, and you're going to have to keep the pitch shift up, and you're going to have to sound teeny.
No, I grew back into my regular size, and I'm going to make sure the audience is aware that I've now grown back to my regular
you
size.
haven't.
Not because I will struggle to deal with it in the editing process, but for the quality of the content we are producing, I need to be regular size. What was your favorite theme park movie-based ride you went to in
Do
Florida?
you want to keep going? Are you okay being little?
I'm regular size. I am the size of a regular human male.
If you think you okay, first
I'm back to
first
six-
stage of grief is denial.
I'm back to not the grief thing again. That's a reference we didn't cut from an earlier episode thing. I'm back to 6 foot, sometimes 6'1" if I put on the right pair of boots. Ladies, I don't know why I said I have a girlfriend.
I think it's funny if you
This
shrunk
is
for a bit.
gone.
I think it's funny if you shrunk for a bit. You, for some reason, are adamant that you're not shrunk.
Because I'm back to human regular size, and do you know what? This is ironically unlike a roller coaster going off the rails.
It's true. All right, fine. What was the question?
What was your favorite theme park ride based on a movie that you went to in Florida?
Based on a movie. So genuinely one of my favorite rides of all time is the Haunted Mansion. But it's not based off a film. The films are based off the ride.
Yeah, there's the Eddie Murphy
Which
film.
way do you want to go? Do you want to go films based off rides or rides based off films?
Let's do films based off rides.
Films based off of rides. So Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion, yeah, with Eddie Murphy 2003.
But then they
or
redid it recently with Danny DeVito.
in 2023.
Did you watch the update? I didn't watch the updated one.
I've seen some of the Eddie Murphy one, not all of it, because I just gave up.
The Eddie Murphy one is awful.
And then, because that's when Eddie Murphy was peak, like, unwatchably bad.
Yeah.
And then I've seen nothing of the one that was dumped onto Disney Plus because who cares?
I mean, I haven't watched it, but I wanted to watch it, which means that this is useless because neither of us watched it. I watched the Muppets Haunted Mansion.
No, but here's why I feel like when it comes to a Haunted Mansion movie based upon the ride, that's the one that is so like tailor-made and ready to be made into a movie. And I'm kind of blown away that you can fuck that up twice.
So my memory, so I haven't watched the updated one, which is a shame because my memory of the Eddie Murphy one is like you were saying, the ride has a story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this.
Tell us the story of the Haunted Mansion
So
ride.
the Haunted Mansion ride, it depends which version you go to, but the original one, if I'm remembering correctly, is about a lady, whatever her name is, Ravencroft or something, and she has killed 7 of her ex-husbands, and the whole house is haunted, and you go through Madame Leota's room, who's a head in a crystal ball, and she tells you that the path to the underworld or the path to the afterlife has been weakened in this spot, and you go through, and then ghosts pop out, and it's all like, it's cool because Disney gets to update it every while, and they add in like new things and
New jump scares and such.
because it's the Haunted Mansion, it's family friendly, there's no jump scares, it's all goofy ghosts.
Okay, like a
But, like,
Scooby-Doo episode.
Kind of. It's closer to that than anything, yeah. So there's like the hitchhiking ghosts, their main characters. There's the bride with his 7 husbands. The hat box ghost whose head goes on and then it appears in a little lantern that he's holding or a hat box. And then you go through the Haunted Mansion's cemetery and all these ghouls and ghosts and spookums are popping out, and then you come out and you have accidentally pulled the hitchhiking ghosts along with you, and then the final thing you do in the ride is you go past these mirrors and the little car spins, and then with the magic of technology, the ghosts are like on your car or in the cart with you. And that's what it used to. I remember when I went 20 years ago, they were just in the thing, and it was like, that was fucking mind blowing back then.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's me and my mum and a ghost. What? Cool. Now you do it, and the ghost, it's kind of like a Snapchat filter. So the ghost will be like, so like me and you are sitting next to each other. The ghost is with you. He's like, oh, whoop, and he grabs our faces and throws them at each other, and then our faces swap.
Okay, that's
And
kind of
then he's like, woo, and then our faces go back to normal. We've seen another one where he grabs like your head and goes, and it blows up like a balloon, and he pops it, and it fizzles back down onto the person.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It's fucking Gav. It's cooler than cool. It's fucking incredible. But yeah, so the story's there. Like that
and
story exists.
You've got your premise, you've got your location, you've got everything set up and ready to easily just turn that into a movie.
There's all these iconic things. There's like the never-ending hallway. That's like a Haunted Mansion thing. There's specific wallpaper. There's all these like niche things that the lovers of the ride are like, holy fuck, these are the
You're gonna
Haunted
love the
Mansion
Easter eggs
things.
in the movie.
Little Easter eggs, right? And the Eddie Murphy film is they buy a house is a Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. And
That's-
then by the end of the movie, they learn to...
Live with the ghosts?
I think that's what it was.
I think they're selling tickets. I think, do they not do the classic like 90s Like, oh, we've learned to live with it, like, kind of like Casper. Or
Yeah,
something.
like Casper the Friendly
We're going to
Ghost
sell
movie.
tickets to this as an event. We're going to make money off of it. And it's like, oh, fuck off, man.
And then when it comes to the one that came out in 2023, I don't know, but I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks rubbish.
I saw the trailer and I wasn't jazzing it, but from what I've read, it's actually like a pretty decent kids film.
But it's just another dumped onto Disney Plus, like, who cares movie.
But then that's like that's a marketing issue. From what I've read and what I've heard, the film's actually not bad, apparently. So that's Haunted Mansion. The other big one is obviously Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I think Pirates of the Caribbean is probably the biggest success of a theme park ride turned into a movie.
Tomorrowland fucking tanked.
Yeah, Tomorrowland tanked.
Haunted Mansion tanked. Pirates did well.
There was a Tower of Terror TV show in the 90s with Kirsten Dunst, which came and went very quickly. I think.
What's mental about that is the Tower of Terror is a Twilight episode.
Okay.
Like, you go on the Tower of Terror ride, and it's the whole bit of the ride is that you're in a Twilight Zone episode. So, like, you go in, you wait in the queue, and you're just queuing through like a hotel, like a dusty old hotel. You eventually get to like the mid section of the queue, which is something Disney does quite a lot, where you queue for a bit, then you go into like a section where there's like story or
something to keep you engaged.
Something to keep you engaged, and then it moves you into like a secondary queue, and it just breaks up the whole thing. It makes you feel like, oh, that's it, we're past checkpoint 1. The second queue's never as bad as the first. It absolutely fucking is. But it doesn't feel like it mentally, it doesn't feel as bad. So you go into this room, and it like is like, ladies and gentlemen, please watch the doors. Lightning, the lights go off, and then this TV turns on, and fucking Rod Sterling's on the TV, and he's like, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a terrifying but interesting place, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, where life and death have changed. You know what I mean? Like, he does the whole Twilight Zone shtick.
It's mental, the things that are in your memory.
What do you mean in my memory?
Just the things you remember.
It's fucking Twilight Zone.
Okay, I know, but it's just like, I'm not going to remember the speech from Twilight Zone.
I was spitballing that, but I know he's like, where dogs chase cats, where black is white. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
he just chooses opposites, and then they do it's the Twilight Zone. So then you like go through, and then you go up the ride, and they strap you in, and then the ride takes you up. Then there's another little section where you go through again to the front where it starts doing the drop zone bit, where it does another Twilight Zone thing where there's like the eye and the door spinning and the door opens. You go through the door. Like, it's fucking.
So how long are you in this queue for before you get to the actual ride?
So the second part's on the ride, but the first, I mean, depending how long the queue is, you could be 10 minutes to. I think I've seen a TikTok the other day which was like, the queues for Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is up to 3 hours.
Fuck that.
But yeah, like, I think once you get to the room with Ron Sterling?
Ron Perlman.
Rod Sterling. It is Rod Sterling, right?
Yeah, sure.
Once you get to the room with him, I think it's kind of like that's the 30-40 minute mark to the. Yeah. It's still a long time. Like, maybe less. Maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean's done the best.
Which is mental when you think about it.
Which is great. But it makes sense because the Tower because Pirates of the Caribbean didn't have a story.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean
prior
ride. For
to-
those who don't know, what was it?
So Pirates of the Caribbean back in the day, pre-Pirates of the Caribbean movie, you would go on the ride. It's a water ride. You are in a boat, and it's like a drive-through ride with animatronics and shit like that, just waving and whatever, right? And Walt Disney, Hannah was watching something the other night actually about it. Walt Disney's whole thing was he really wanted to make it feel like you were going through a pirate-raided town, but like family-friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
So you go through it,
So
and
there's no like raping and pillaging.
yeah, there's no raping and pillaging. I mean, there's pillaging, but no raping.
Oh, that's good.
Back in the day, there was more rape illusions, which have been changed. I'll tell you about this in a second. So you sit on the boat, you go through the ride. I mean, if you've never been on it, it's just a nice. You go through a pirate town, and you there's a pirate on this side who's sleeping with the pigs because he's drank so much. There's a pirate on that side, and they've got swords and they're sword fighting, but it's just janky animatronics.
For anyone who's ever been to Edinburgh, it's like the Edinburgh dungeons, but without a boat. Where you just kind of walk around and see
Kind of, yeah.
animatronic things doing stuff.
So that was the original, right? And then there was what I was talking about there's one bit in the original where a male pirate's chasing a female pirate. So they're just on like
like going around in a circle, yeah.
like on a round of like a pillar or something. But it's very clear that he's chasing her because he's gonna rape her.
Sounds like the patriarchy.
So Pirates of the Caribbean blew up the film, and sorry, just to like nail the point in, that's the ride. There is no story. There's no like hidden pirate treasure, Captain Jack Sparrow. There's none of that. You go on it, you go through the pirate town, you get off the ride. End off, right? Dead Men Tell No Tales is like a big part of the ride. And that's what a pirate says at the beginning of it. And then you go through. But like, to my memory, that's no story. They took Pirates of the Caribbean, they decided to make a movie. They added Jack Sparrow, they added Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom. The whole film's blew up. We have
Produced by the
6 movies now, 5 movies now.
5 movies?
With a 6th coming potentially.
And then the 6th one's going to be a reboot.
With potentially Karen Gillan as the...
I think
no, did we just say Karen Gillan?
Karen Gillan's out now, and it's someone else. Oh, it's the... If you've ever seen the show The Bear, it's the girl who comes in to like... get a job, and then it goes really. She becomes like the sous chef and everything. She's now attached to be the lead in the movie.
Okay, cool.
I can't remember the name of the actress, but she's going to be in it. I can look that up.
Cool. So like, yeah. So then Disney retroactively added Johnny Depp animatronics to the ride.
Yeah.
And he's like looking for the pirate treasure. And at the beginning, he's like looking at a map, and then another pirate's like, my map, as long as nobody finds my map. And Johnny Depp's animatronics like looking over his shoulder, and he's like, woohoo. And at the end, the final thing you go past now is Johnny Depp animatronics sitting on a fucking huge pile of gold, which kind of doesn't make any sense because you don't ever go through like a
story arc in the ride.
Yeah, he sees the map and then he has the gold, but on the ride you never really go through like and now we're in the pirate treasure
to be fair,
cave.
that almost sounds like the quality of the scripts in the later Pirates of the Caribbean movies. We're just like, a bunch of shit happens and he wins.
So it's interesting because like the theme, I mean, other than the theme, that's it. That's like the only thing that transfers across from the ride to the film, and the theme is pirates, and a slightly tongue-in-cheek element, I guess. I don't think I said the final bit of the thing about the pirate chasing the woman. Sorry. They've because they're trying to be more progressive, they just changed the positions of the models. Oh, so now the woman's chasing the pirate. I think they gave her like a rolling pin as well. So now she's like...
Because she's being a pesky pirate.
Yeah, which I thought was funny. I thought that was quite cute.
I mean, it's also a cheap fix.
Really cheap. Really cheap.
Take one
fix.
off the track, put it on the other side.
There's also, this is a fun little fact for anyone that's never been, in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Florida, at least, there is a Smee and Captain Hook animatronic that you can keep an eye out for.
I don't know who...
you don't know who Captain Hook and Smee are?
I don't know who's
Peter Pan.
Oh, Smee. Oh, okay.
Smee's the LeFou.
I knew who Captain Hook was. I don't know who
Smee's the LeFou to Captain Hook.
Thank you.
Hello, Smee. Him.
What? Give us your...
You're gonna go listen. After this, you're gonna look up Smee. You're gonna listen. You're gonna be like, holy fuck, that was a pretty good impression.
Give us your Captain Hook impression.
I actually can't even think what Captain Hook sounds like.
So, who's it that played him again in the movie?
Dustin Hoffman played him in Hook.
Dustin Hoffman was played in the movie.
But I can't remember in the original Peter Pan.
But then you've got the remake with Hugh Jackman. But he played Blackbeard? Or did he play
Hook? It was pre-Hook.
But then didn't they...
I'm convinced.
Oh, Boyd Holbrook was playing Hook, I think.
And he's a good guy, though, right? He's like helping Pan.
But then it shows him how he becomes bad. Because I never saw the...
Gotta have these villains. Gotta make sure everyone cares about these villains.
Here's my prediction of how he became Captain Hook. A woman probably broke his heart. I bet you that's... Because I didn't finish the movie. It's when they started singing Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. I was like, I think it's time to turn this movie off. But I'm going to predict that...
I can't believe you do that. I can't help... if I start a film, I have to give it its full runtime.
Well, I don't do it anymore. Now, if I start a film, I have to finish it. Because I'm like, I do this... I'm trying to make this my living and talk movies. But when I was younger and an alcoholic and I hated existence, I was like... I could die in any minute, so I can't waste it.
I can't die through pirates singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit" in the
I can't
Pan
die
reboot.
Watching Pan.
Because someone will have to come in and find me, and it'll probably be Phil. And if the last thing Phil does is go, he's gone, he's freezing cold, and he's got no pulse, I better pause Pan.
It's what he would have wanted.
At the eulogy, when I found Gav watching Pan.
Because then my reputation is panned. I'm good at this. I'm great.
So yeah, I think they're the biggest ones. Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, took it off because that's where Haunted Mansion tried to tread the same ground.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean was the one where
Tomorrowland as well.
I remember with Pirates, Disney were like they were trying so hard. Jerry Bruckheimer was the producer. They all accepted before it released, this will be a Titanic bomb. This is not going to work. No one cares about pirates. We're fucked. They released it. It was the biggest movie of the year. And then they released 2 more that were also the biggest movies of the year. And then, of course, it died after that because superheroes took over. But yeah, they tried to recreate it with your Tomorrowlands.
Tomorrowland was a weird... Tomorrowland's a fucking weird one, though, because Tomorrowland is...
similar to...
It's not even a ride. It's just a section of Disney World.
Yeah.
It's the theming of a part. You've got... What have you got? You've got, like, Neverland Castle. You've got Frontier Town. You've got Tomorrowland. You have, up the back, Toontown and something else.
So not also like the move you walk through and you see a bunch of things from movies.
That's gone.
Oh, is that? I don't know.
That's Mickey Mouse's Runaway Railway now.
Of course it is.
Hey, look, I've spoken to people, and people can shit on that ride. That ride is fucking incredible. It's just joy. It's just pure fucking joy.
What do you do in the Mickey Mouse Runaway Railway?
Gavin, I can't even really explain to you. It's so fucking good. You're in the queue and you're walking through, you get to the ride and you get on a train. So the whole thing's like the front one's a train and then you're in 4 carriages on the train and then the ride just puts you through. Goofy appears in the back of the train and he's like, hook, I'm going to pull these levers and I'm going to send us on a fun journey.
Now, when you say Goofy appears, is this a person in a suit?
It's a screen, but it's kind of like a 3D screen. It's not like a full hologram, but it's pretty fucking good.
So like Tupac and Goofy are the 2 things we've holograms. So
kind
far.
of.
And ABBA.
And then he pulls a lever, the fucking train goes off, Mickey and Minnie appear in a car, and it's weird. So they're models. It's like a 3D model, but then their faces are projected onto them to maintain the 2D style.
Okay.
It's so
Sounds
hard.
like a nightmare.
No, it's so good. It's so good. And then you go through like an episode of a Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Right.
Donald pops up and Mickey
the whole
and
gang,
Minnie, the whole gang are there, right? It's fucking great. It's actually fucking... And then there's a song that plays at the beginning and at the end. And there's this one fucking trick, actually. Holy shit. I know I spoke to you about this in the Star Wars, right? You watch the beginning of the cartoon, actually, in a theater. So you're watching them get ready to go on this ride before you get on the train to join them. And it's just them getting ready and putting shit in the back of a car. And then the train that you're about to get on, like, crashes through the screen. And then all this smoke appears... And like you're in the room, you are watching it. There's no hole in the wall, and then the smoke appears, and Goofy like appears like, oh my god! And then there's this big fuck off hole and like the screens burst out, and I was like, where the fuck did that come from? It's such a fucking... It's a practical effect. It happens in the room. Obviously, the smoke covers something.
Yeah.
But me and Hannah went on it like 5 times because we fucking loved it.
Also, I can imagine there's not a big queue for this ride.
No, it's fucking huge queue. Are you joking?
I thought no one liked the ride, though.
No. No. Some people didn't like the ride. Wrong people.
Wrong people.
Everyone else is fucking... It's incredible. But yeah, that whole just is like... It's one of the best practical effects I think I've ever seen. Fuck films. Theme parks are where practical effects are now.
I mean, I suppose as someone who doesn't go to theme parks and has almost never really been on any theme park rides, I've been on some. But for me, when I read about it or watch videos of it, it all seems like a magic trick. Where it's like, look over here, see this thing, look at the shiny thing over here, and you all look, because you're all slack-jawed idiots going to a theme park ride at the age of 30 and above. Look at the shiny thing, look at the shiny thing.
I'll walk out. I don't care.
You'll come back. And then they're like, there's a bunch of people in like black, what do you call it, onesies that you can't see in the dark, like pushing out like a big thing.
When this episode's done, we're going to look up a clip of it, and I guarantee you're going to do what everyone else doesn't go, that's pretty fucking good,
I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm just saying it's like, it's a classic...
It is a magic trick.
Classic
yeah,
magic trick. Look over here, the thing comes out over here. And it's great. And for kids and slack-jawed 30-year-old idiots, fantastic.
Fuck you.
The rest of us adults, we'll go on with our days in life.
Good fucking... Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. They're the rides that I can think of that are based... Yeah, so Tomorrowland, which then... So Tomorrowland's a fucking weird one.
Tomorrowland's a weird one.
Tomorrowland is... My genuine theory on Tomorrowland is they wrote a script for a sci-fi movie, the Disney writers, and then they shoehorned in the Tomorrowland theming because they were like, we need something to make this Disney. Do you know what I mean? Because Tomorrowland is set in the look. If you're doing something on the computer and you'll give me the whole hand wave of like keep vamping, I'm fine vamping. But surely you can say yes, just to like keep the fucking motion going. You cock.
Yes.
Tomorrowland, fucking dick. Tomorrowland. Like the film in Tomorrowland is about them finding this button which lets you into the Tomorrowland world, right? And in Tomorrowland's world in the movies, you can like work on anything. It's kind of like Rapture from the BioShock games. You can work on anything and there's no legislation and government telling you not to do anything. It's on like a parallel Earth or something. But that's kind of not what Tomorrowland is. Tomorrowland is just a celebration of the future. Like, which I suppose the theme is correct. But when you go into the Disneyland park, it's not like, look, guys, we've cured cancer in this part of the Disney world and yada, yada, yada. It's just the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, from what?
like that, you know what I mean? Like that's as far as the message really gets. There is the Carousel of Tomorrow, which is one of Walt Disney's favorite rides.
Yeah, from what I see here, it was like you said, it was a section that was just to be like the world of tomorrow, the future of what's to come. And this was like in the 50s. It existed for a short amount of time, and then it kind of got changed and it disappeared. And then for some reason in 2015, but well, I guess 2013 or prior, because that's when the movie came out, is they went, hey, Brad Bird, do you want to do a live action movie based upon a ride that no one knows or remembers? And he was like, I absolutely do. And then he made the George Clooney Tomorrowland.
Wait, so was it a ride?
It was like a section of a different ride.
The section still exists. Like of the park.
I think but there was a point where like it changed. It was like part of the New York World's Fair and etc. Well,
right, okay.
But it's like it changed around and it wasn't prevalent or that well known. And it was also just like, hey, we'll have flying cars and stuff. Whereas then the Tomorrowland, obviously they had to try and build that out into something more. And it turns into like, there's like I can't really remember the movie.
I just told you the plot to the movie, but you were fucking around on your computer.
I think the people already know the plot to the movie. I just remember when I watched it, I was like, I mean, that's an all right. Like Brad Bird knows how to put a good movie together. I think Iron Giant.
It's not actually a bad film. By all straight.
It's just when you put it up against like your Pirates of the Caribbeans and stuff.
It's nowhere near as action packed. It doesn't feel quite as magical watching it. It's also hard because it's one of those not rare, but it's one of those films where it's like it's a kid's film. Hugh Laurie's the villain. He monologues about the Earth, and halfway through his monologue, I remember sitting there being like, "He's right."
Yeah, I remember thinking that as well.
So I'm meant to be rooting against him? It's the one line that got me, because he's doing his villain monologue and it's like, oh, you're telling me that I'm the bad guy? You on planet Earth have a starvation epidemic and a fatness epidemic at the same time, and your fucking governments can't fix that. And I was like, I have no argument for that. You're not wrong, villain.
It's weird. I feel like the movie
suck.
The problem with the movie Tomorrowland is it's on one hand, it's too grounded and like straight laced.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's throwing ideas and themes at young kids that they're like, I don't care.
Yeah, there was some real heavy like theming in that film.
Whereas if you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, it's just a
Pirates steal gold, pirates get cursed, pirates break curse.
And it's massive Jerry Bruckheimer-esque budget of madness and fun. And of course, Johnny Depp with
doing
Captain Back,
Depp
like
thing.
Captain Back, Captain Jack Sparrow,
Captain Macaroni,
Captain Macaroni,
Captain Macaroni.
He was a massive thing, and you couldn't get away from it. And Tomorrowland was just never going to take off because no one knew or cared.
Yeah, it's loosely tied. So I think they're the three biggest ones that are based off of Disney.
I mean, you're forgetting about the 2021 movie starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Emily Blunt.
Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise, that's another one. So that Jungle Cruise absolutely did the same thing that Pirates did, so you go on Jungle Cruise. For anyone at home that's never been, Jungle Cruise is another water ride. You get on a boat. I'm 99% sure the boats are on tracks, but they go through the whole motions of like spinning the wheel and pulling fucking levers and stuff.
And there's like a guy who stands there and
it's a skipper, right? Yeah. Every boat has their own skipper, and that skipper just goes around and they tell a bunch of jokes while you look at more Walt Disney animatronics. Again, no story really, other than some other explorers have previously tried setting up and are being harassed by jungle animals. That's it. And like the whole point of going on that ride is because you have a skipper that's going to tell you gags.
Yeah, because I've seen, again, because I don't go on any of these rides, I've seen the videos on Instagram or on YouTube, and it's like someone pretty much doing stand-up comedy while you look at pretty things.
And it's fun because you can go on it multiple times and you get a different skipper and the jokes are different. It's a good laugh. But that's kind of it. And the animatronics are good. So that's it. And then the Jungle Cruise came out and they were like, okay, we got the skipper, we've got the river, we can nail those two things. We need a story. What about cursed gold from the Spanish conquistadors? It's like, well, I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean did that. Should we try something else? What about cursed gold from the Spanish conquistadors?
And what about a submarine full of evil German soldiers trying to catch? I'm just like, what is this movie?
Are you doing Pirates of the Caribbean or are you doing Indiana Jones? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay.
And then
Dwayne The Rock Johnson's immortal and he's...
Jack Whitehall has sex with a tiger? Did that happen?
What?
I feel like Jack Whitehall had sex with a tiger. I don't know.
Jack Whitehall was gay in it, right?
That
was progressive. That was the big LGBT.
But it
thing.
did the usual Disney thing of he's a homosexual. Will we say that? No, we will not say that. We'll make passing kind of ideas towards it.
I do feel like it was pretty on the nose about it, I feel like it was more on the nose about it than other Disney offerings. Because you're right, usually Disney are like, are they gay? Well, they said wife and it's woman, right? Yeah, but you didn't say they were gay. We don't want to make a point of it.
Yeah, we don't want to.
It's like, it's such a hard one. Because I kind of get where they're coming from when they do this. Because it's like, well, in, what was the Disney one with the fantasy world? But
that's all of them.
Shut up. The fantasy world, but it's like modern day Dungeons and Dragons. If you took Dungeons and Dragons, which is always set in the 200, and then fast forward it's 2024. So they've got drive-throughs and internet and magic and electricity.
Bright?
No, not Bright. The Disney version of Bright.
Was it animated or
Yeah, it was maybe a Pixar. With Chris Pratt as the older brother.
The last movie I saw before COVID started. Yeah. What was that? It was so bad and forgettable.
I liked it.
Oh, I hated it.
Really?
Oh, it's fucking dog shit.
No, absolutely wrong. So wrong. It was nice. It was. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a little bit trite, but it was. I liked it.
Hold on.
Onward. It was called Onward. I've just remembered.
Onward.
Fuck you. What was I saying? Why did I need to remember that name? Fucking idiot, Gary.
We're talking about progressiveness in movies.
Yeah, and at one point, the cops are chasing those two guys, and they use magic to pretend they're a different cop. And the female Cyclops cop is like, anyway, I'm going to head home and watch some stuff with my wife. See you later, Johnson, and left, right? And I liked that, because it's like, they're not laboring the point. She said wife. Nobody made a comment about it. End of. Other than the fact it pissed off everybody.
I like that approach. I hate the approach of the movie comes out. There's never any overt. It doesn't even have to be overt, but there's no clear indication. And then someone attached to the movie, or sometimes not even attached, goes, "Oh yeah, they're that," and you're like, "Okay, but are you just saying that, or are they just take a stance or don't just kind of."
Well, Jack
float.
Whitehall in Jungle Cruise was definitely gay. And 100% within the confines of the movie was gay. Because I think he has a heart-to-heart with Dwayne The Rock Johnson at one point, and Dwayne's like, oh, and what was her name? And he's like, oh, no, it was John.
All I remember about that movie is the weird Jesse Plemons as a German submarine commander. Jack Whitehall has sex with a tiger, and they do a George of the Jungle swinging scene.
Maybe. I only seen it once.
The last ride turned into a movie that I want to talk about is probably, we've already said Pirates of the Caribbean, which we said is the most well-known. Yeah. Actually, the most well-known, and this is probably your favourite, it's definitely my favourite, is the 2000 movie Mission to Mars, starring Gary Sinise, directed by Brian De Palma, which I didn't know was a ride.
Yeah, the Mars mission in Epcot.
Yep, and so I did my research.
Me and Hannah did that, that ride as well. It has, so apparently somebody died on it.
Okay,
Like IRL, someone went on that ride. So basically, you go on that
Did
ride.
they die like how the people in the movie died?
Maybe. How do they die?
They went to Mars and then there was a big dome with a face on it and it wiped them all out. Spoilers for the beginning of Mission to Mars, but if you've not seen it.
So you queue up and you go on this ride. There are now warnings fucking everywhere. And I mean, because I remember going on it this time around and I remember I said to Hannah, like, why are they so... Like, they're really hammering in the fact that these two rides are like a ride, you know? But basically what it is, you get in it and it's a mini version of a G-Force simulator. So Disney have built 2 of them. They've got one cranked down to like 2 and they've got one cranked up to I think only like 5. It might have been more back in the day. It might have been cranked up to 8 or something. Somebody went on it and like it's fucking claustrophobic because you go in it and this thing comes down in front of you and you have, Gav, I'm not even kidding, you have like a coffin's worth of space. Longer, because 5 people or 4 people have to get in it, but you have like a coffin's worth of space to like press some buttons on a screen and then watch what's going on while it spins you, giving you the G-force effects.
Ironic, you're on a ride where someone died and they put you in a coffin.
Well, and like somebody went on the one that was cranked up to 8 back in the day, had a fucking, I think had a panic attack and like had a heart attack on the ride. Because they were just like, I need to get off. But there's no microphone. You can't fucking stop the ride when you're in. There's no emergency button for like, please let me off. I'm having a heart attack. And they just
I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
Yeah, they just fucking KO'd, man. R.I.P. So then Disney put a bunch of warnings up about it, saying if you're going on this ride, be aware of what it is. We recommend if you have any worries, go on the 2 version, and even at that. We will show you it before. And when you're getting in it, they're like, right, when you're looking at this is going to close. It's going to feel cramped. They check every single part. You know what I mean? Like they really. If you're
some professor,
I didn't know that was turned into a movie. So sorry, I didn't realize that's funny as shit.
I did until I did my research today because I remember watching that movie when I was younger, and I'm just like, that was a ride? Like the Gary Sinise Brian De Palma movie from 2000, Mission to Mars. Apparently, according to what I was reading here, is like the original version of the ride closed in 1992.
Right.
And then they did a movie, and they're like, I guess we'll put like a different version together. Yeah. So it was a different version from now what it is now.
Yeah.
Because they closed it in the 90s.
And then brought it back.
9 years later, or 8 years later, we're like, we should probably make a movie out of that ride that we chose to close. And do you know who we should tap to direct it? Like intense director Brian De Palma did like Scarface. Let's get him in.
Disney were real fucking loose with their IP back in the day.
Oh, they were loose with their IP, their ideas, and a lot of other things they were loose with. When they owned Minimax.
So I think that's the like main ones. I think that's the main ones.
Like, other ones that I could
rides turned into
find.
Movies.
There's also the ones outside of Disney. There's ones like there's an Avatar one, which is like
oh shit! I should have. I guess the one at Animal Kingdom. There's 2 Avatar rides now. One of them is a boat ride, boring as fuck. But like again, boring as fuck. But the animatronic magic is like you're going on the ride to feel like you've been transported to the Pandora, and Q's fucking insane, Gav.
Star Tours. That's the thing I was thinking about earlier.
Star Tours is fucking great. I was going to speak to you about that.
Well,
don't worry.
Don't worry.
But that's the other way around. That's a ride based off of a movie. I've got a whole. It's all in my head. They're coming. So you go on the Pandora ride, and like, there's so many fucking cool animatronics. They've got like creatures running through bushes. They've got bushes that shake, and then
do they have one of James Cameron abusing people on set?
No, none of that.
Okay.
They've got like
I'd love that animatronic.
these like massive leaves above you that are glowing, and then you can see these like frog prints like walking across them. It's cool as fuck, and it all culminates in I think it is Disney's most expensive animatronic, or it was at the time, of a Navi. And she's like playing music on the Tree of Life.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, and it was like the level of like movement that it had.
I mean, fair fucking play to them. That animatronic, it's like it looks like you're looking at a genuine Navi. It's fucking crazy.
Does it have little pointy nipples?
No, they're covered, so you don't get to gut it. I know.
How am I supposed to finish wanking if they're covered?
So you like it's
you
actually
time it right, you know.
It's actually a really chill ride. It's fun. It's pretty boring because you don't do anything. You are just going on it for the vibes, but it's nice, right? Then the other Pandora ride, there's another one. The other one, and this falls more into the 3D ride effect. It's the same technology as Saw.
It's called Flights of Passage.
Flights of Passage. Gavin, that ride is fucking incredible. I shit you not. We went on it. Hannah was like, Hannah who was pregnant at the time, knew she was pregnant and was very, very picky about the ride she was going because she was like, no, I can't go on anything too crazy.
Don't want shaking baby syndrome.
Yeah, we done that mission to Mars and we came off and Hannah was like, I think we're fine, but like that's probably the limit. Like
she's also, and that was based. They made a movie of that with Gary Sinise and Brian De Palma.
So we went on Flight Pads. We came off and Hannah was like, I want to do that again. And I was like, well, we'll get tickets later. She's like, no, Gary, I want to do that again now. And I was like, okay, like, why don't we just go get lunch? She's like, Gary, I want to do Flights of the Passage.
I'm in charge. Look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes. I'm in charge.
I haven't been able to ride anything good or fun for like a week. We are buying tickets. We're going to spend the money on the Lightning Pass. We're going to come on this ride. We're going to do it again.
I just love the idea that you used to go on holiday for 2 weeks to Florida, and it's just Hannah standing holding the jackets and like sipping on it.
And then me, wee! Hannah, this is the best ride I've ever been on!
And you come running up to her, like take a big gulp of your juice. And then you're like, okay, I'll see you later. And you run off again, and she's just standing there with like a big turkey leg and a drink, being like, this is fucking miserable.
I met this guy climbing. We were both climbing on the Pandora stuff, and we're going to go ride Flight of the Passage together. Hold on. I'll be back in a minute, Hannah.
You having fun too? Yes. Okay, see you soon.
Apparently, if we stand in this corner, one of the guys from Disney comes around and he'll give you a sticker, but you have to be there at 12 o'clock, so we're going to go wait. And then Hannah finds me, and it's like me and a 7-year-old kid.
It's you and Matthew. This is Matthew. He's my friend. He's really cool. We shared Pokemons together in Pokemon Go.
So yeah, Flight of the Passage is again great theming. I'm a huge advocate for like if you're gonna make a ride, especially Disney where the queues are now up to like 3 hours, you need to make your queue as fucking engaging as possible, right?
Because kids these days with TikTok and everything.
Well, and not just like I actually think kids would probably be better off in these queues as parents. I can't stand for 3 hours on TikTok, so I'm like walking through it and feeling like I'm getting closer and closer, and as I'm getting through it, the whole. So basically, Fly the Passage. You first walk through the Navi forest, and you've got glowing lights, and it's all fucking dead nice. You then go into a military base that's been attacked by the Navi, so you've got like spears sticking out the walls and claw marks. You've got a Quaritch adjacent character giving you the whole like welcome. Quaritch, James Quaritch from Avatar, the main bad guy.
You think I know anyone's name apart from Jake Sully?
Jake Sully, Neytiri.
Nah,
James Quaritch.
I know Jake.
Spider?
I know Jake's. Who? Not Spider-Man, you idiot. That's the wrong movie.
They're the ones I can remember. Jake Sully, Neytiri, and Quaritch. But Quaritch is like the military bad.
He's the one with the scar on his face?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who...
And then comes back in the second one.
Arguably is a good character. Like he's actually not a good guy, but he's like arguably, if you just frame that differently, the best military person. Until he goes full villain at the end. We would talk about this another time.
Yeah, please.
So you go through, and then you get like a Quaritch adjacent, like a military guy, and he's like, the Navi have been attacking our base here, so we need you to help us by, we're about to put you into your avatars and blah, 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 and you go through, and then they've got all these like experiments running around, and the fucking experiments are awesome. They've got like, I mean, me and Hannah watched one for fucking ages. I looked it up because I needed to know what the magic trick was. It's like, what's that black oozing metal? It's like
Mercury?
Ferrous, I think it is. Ferrous metal. And it's like it's teeny tiny little fragments. You put them together, they stick to each other. Then there's a magnet underneath it, and it spins around this like container. And I put on the container, it's like warning, biomatter, be careful, yada yada. And then with the magnet underneath it, which you can't see, it's like spiking, and it follows the magnet around. But it just looks like a little fucking crazy creature.
Like running around
a test tube. It's fucking mad. They've got a full-size Jake Sully avatar floating in liquid that you walk past. It's crazy. You eventually get to the front, and they put you through all this extra again, breaking up the queue. So it's like, right, guys, the next part of the queue, we need you to do this. And you watch a training video. Then you get into the next bit of the queue. You eventually get put through. Then you stand in another queue. But it's all doled up, and you have to stand on these spaces, and it's like, we're going to be linking you to your avatars now. So look at the screens to your left. Make sure you're standing on your spot. The lights will change. The screen in front of you, your face is on it, and it like fades you in and out of an avatar. And it's like, this is your genuine avatar reconstruction. And it's like, it's all bollocks. But like, I was like, I feel like I'm actually going to be an avatar. Then you get on the ride, and you are seated on this like motorbike style thing, and it's like grab this, kick your legs back, lean forwards, and it like proper locks you in the body.
Is there then like a wee kid hanging on to the back of you, and you're driving down a road, and there's a truck behind you, and you're shooting a shotgun? Oh wait, no, that's James Cameron's Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. But it's like you strapped in. Then it's like you're looking down, and your avatar that they'd shown you previously is then like fading in and out, and then it scans your brain, and it fucking vibrates, and it's like now you're going to be going onto the back of one of the flying beasts, and you're going to...
What are they called?
Oh, I can't remember.
You're shite.
Like a Kakatua.
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 Kakatua pterosaur.
So you're on the back of one of them, and the screen's showing you like are in Pandora, and you're flying around, and then they start spraying smells, and a little bit of like sea foam hits you in the face, and the thing you're on has mechanized bits that like press out against your legs. So when the wing, you know what I mean, like you hear the whoosh, and then you feel it like press your leg. Gav, holy fuck! I like. Because you've never been at these theme parks, and I know I just feel like I'm a gushing Disney
That's
twat
good.
right
I'm
now.
here for it, you know.
But like
the theme park aficionados out there are going to love this.
Honestly, the level that they go to genuinely sell these experiences, it's fucking incredible. It is annoying as fuck that you go now and you have to wait 3 hours or spend money to get on these things. But when you finally get your 10 minutes of enjoyment out of the 2.5 hours wait time, like. You know in Emperor's New Groove, when Paco says to Cusco, like, if I was you, I'd build your swimming pool right here, because when the sun hits these hills, they just sing. That is that's the best way to explain every time the Disney experience hits.
When it hits right.
When it hits, it's just like a fucking symphony of magic. It's incredible.
2 questions.
Yes.
But first statement. The way the way they've built queuing to be a part of the ride,
it's genius.
It's fucking genius, because I don't like to queue, even though I'm from the UK, and apparently we do like to queue.
Love it.
But the way you describe queuing to me sounds like, the queuing is like an interactive loading screen before you get to the game.
Yeah.
It's the demo before you play the game.
Yeah, me and Hannah were playing a game through pretty much all of Disney about, and you can tell the older rides compared to the new ones, because all the newer rides are absolutely like, here's shit to keep you entertained. The clever thing that they're now doing, and I'm a big fucking advocate for this, huge, is that they've got the Disney World app. You sign into the app. When you are in certain bits of the park, games unlock on your phone that you can only play when you're in those queues.
So it's like an AR experience.
Kind of. Some of them are full blown games. There's one in the Toy Story Mania ride that unlocks, and then it's like, how many people are playing? 3. Pass the phone around, and you all have to do different tasks just on the phone, and like mini games and shit. And it's like, are you at this point of the queue yet? And you're like, no. And it's like, well, let's play another round. And it just keeps keeps you moving and keeps you
from losing your fucking mind, and because obviously queuing is the worst experience to happen to humanity. There's obviously a lot of the worst things out there, but we'll just play along with it. Questions. First question: what is better, the live action Avatar ride experience, or James Cameron's Avatar and Avatar: The Way of the Water?
I'm going to tell you this, right? Do you remember when you first saw Avatar 1? And you sat and you saw it in IMAX with the 3D.
Yes.
And you had that moment where you were like, holy fuck, this might be the future of cinema. Because I had that moment. And I'm not saying that every time you've watched it, you've had that. But the very first time when the 3D was popping, the sound was incredible. Although the film's not great, there's no denying the IMAX experience when you fully got the IMAX experience the first time. I remember sitting in the cinema being like, holy shit, this is going to change the landscape of film. That feeling is Flight of the Passage every fucking time.
Yeah, because for me, when I saw Avatar in the cinema in 3D, wasn't an IMAX sadly though. I was a young boy and I didn't think about it then. I have this like GIF moment memory of, it's the first time, I think it's when he's Jake Sully like wandering, and there's like little floating LED,
and those little spinners.
Yeah, and they're floating around, but they were floating around me, and I was like, holy fuck, this is incredible. Yeah. But then the next 2 hours and whatever of the movie happened, and I went, oh, I'm bored now. Like the magic has worn off, because I'm just watching, as everyone has made this comment thousands of times, I'm just watching Fern Gully, or I'm just watching anything.
So like, scrap all the rest of that, take that one perfect moment, elongate it by 10 minutes. That is the Avatar ride. It's fucking magic. It's so good.
So the ride is better than the movies?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you see the second Avatar movie? Mm-hmm. God, it's a fucking boring movie, isn't it?
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Hey, let's hang out with a whale for half an hour. All right, cool.
What was question 2?
Question 2 is...
Sorry, just real quick on Avatar 2. Real quick. I know I just asked you to tell me question 2. What I couldn't fucking fathom is because Avatar 2 had the moments set at 60 frames per second, and it just jumped seemingly at random between. I know it was the action sequences. Every time it jumped to one of the like 60 frames seconds ones, I was like, "This is a PlayStation 5 cutscene."
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get over that. Every time it did the 60 frames thing, I was like, "Why does it look like this? Like, why would you pick your film to look like this?"
The thing I kept thinking when watching that movie, and it's what everyone's going to think, is, "Wow, this looks incredible."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no denying. And the water looks great, and it all looks fantastic.
Conceptually, the idea of doing what James Cameron's doing underwater, and the time he spent to build the technology, and the time he spent to film these scenes, I'm like, what I'm looking at is a marvel. Not Disney's Marvel comic books, but the word, the adjective, it's a marvel. It's wondrous. But then after that, I'm like, okay, but where's the movie? Where's the story? Don't give a fuck. And I want to really push that point. I don't give a fuck about Jake Sully and his dumb kids swimming with whales.
I have said this before. I'm going to say it again right now for our listeners and maybe anyone that's new to this. Avatar 2 made the billions of money. It made a stupid metric fuck ton of cash. I challenge you, listeners, to tell me the names of any of the children in that film.
Oh, yeah. Like,
I fucking could not do it. I think Kira's one of them, but I only know that because I'm the one that asks people this question all the fucking time.
Or are you thinking of Commander Kira from Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
I might be thinking of Kira from fucking Death Note. I don't know. That name comes into my head. It might be right, it might not be. But sitting there listening, if you are and you're like, yeah, it's not that bad, Gary. Just name any of those children, and if you can name more than 3 of them, there are. Let me remind you, 6. I think
There's
in that
so
fucking
many kids.
You can name more than 3 of them. Well done, you've proved.
And I don't know if this
right.
sounds bad or not, but they all look the same, and I couldn't differentiate one from the other.
There's the Ellen Ripley one.
Yeah,
Not
the
the
Sigourney
Ellen-
Weaver one. There's Ellen Ripley from Alien.
one, and there's a human one, and then there are 4
Weird
other.
little hissing human one. I was like,
Spider, his name is.
Oh,
I remember,
that's
I remember
Spider,
that's
okay.
Spider. That's Quaritch's kid.
I don't know who that is.
Quaritch, I just fucking told you Quaritch's.
I don't take in. I can. Avatar.
What was question 2?
Question 2 is: have you been on the Titanic ride?
No.
Right. So I did go on the Titanic.
That
ride.
doesn't sound
It's
okay.
one of the rides I went on. So
You
in the
can't, that's not good. You can't. That's
No.
that's like having a 9/11 ride.
Right,
You
so
can't
the-
have a Titanic ride.
So in the Titanic ride, you're on a lifeboat, and it's on tracks, and you're going down this wee bit, and it's showing you moments from Titanic, the movie, and then there's a point.
Where was this? No, wait. Where was this? This does sound familiar.
So and then this is the only ride I was. It's why I don't like going on rides anymore, because of the experience. So you're on the lifeboat, you're watching moments from the movie, and then kind of like the smoke thing happens, and there's like a big explosion, and it's almost like a real explosion. And then ice gets thrown. There's guys throwing ice cubes at you, and you're like, "Oh fuck, you hit me in the eye, mate!" And then you're watching like it's not the same size as the Titanic, but you're watching like a ship sink in front of you. They got this big swimming pool, and you're watching
where was this?
You're watching the ship sink in front of you, and you're like, "Wow, this is so real." I feel like I'm actually there in 1912 watching the Titanic sink. I was so close, and it's in the ride's in New York. Ironically, the lifeboat made it to New York, but the boat didn't. And I'm like, "Wow, this is like incredible." I feel like I'm one of the passengers in Titanic. And then you hear cut, and you're like, "Oh, that's weird." And then an animatronic. Oh wait, you've sank into the sea at this point because your little ship, your little lifeboat, you sink into the sea, and you get dipped into this cold water. You've got a life jacket because obviously they have to look after you. And I'm like, fuck, I'm like, this water's really, really cold. And then an animatronic, James Cameron, like rolls up, and he's got these really like pointed eyebrows, and he just starts screaming at you on a through a megaphone to like he's, cut, do that again, oh shit, and he's just screaming at you and just
Is this a real ride?
and
or
he's just
is this
being
a fucking,
really, really horrible to you, and he's just saying,
Is this just a fucking
and, like,
vehicle for you to be a cunt to James Cameron?
and before
again?
you get on the ride, they ask you to fill out a questionnaire of like fill in like, oh, what was your like deepest, darkest trauma, and like what, like kind of like a boggart thing from Harry Potter. What are you scared of? And then it's so in like real, they give that to the animatronic, and he shouts your actual traumas at you. You're a piece of shit. You're gonna die alone. And you're just like, fucking hell.
It's a vehicle for you to be horrible like James Garrett again, right? Okay, I'm with you. I'm there.
And then, so I then finished that ride. Like they take you out the water, and then they send you, and they give you a big apple, and you eat it because you're in New York. Huh? And then I was just like, I'm never going on a theme park ride again. That was horrifying. I cried for days.
The ET ride is also insane.
What's the ET ride?
The ET The ET ride is the other way around. The ET ride is a ride based off the film. It has been around since the film, I think, launched, maybe a couple years after, right? And because it's insane, dude. There's this whole preamble. So Universal has a couple of these. They have the Mummy ride, they have the ET ride, they had Back to the Future the ride, which got turned into the Simpsons ride. But these are all rides based on film.
Weird. Right? How do you go from Back to the Future to the Simpsons?
Very well, actually. The theme, like they stripped the theme off, and they did a good job of like keeping the core ride there, and then just changing everything about it. Anyway, the ET one. There's this whole, like, while we were going through the first queue, there's this preamble of Steven Spielberg.
Yep, that's the man who directed it.
Yeah, Spielberg. And he's like sitting in he's like telling you, he's like, yeah, so we started the E.T. ride, and when we made the movie, we really wanted to tell the story of E.T. And I really think we didn't quite get there, and I wanted to tell you guys the story behind the alien. And you keep walking through, and then you eventually get into a room that is the woods scene from the movie. And there's like the crashed NASA shit, or there's like the speaking spell and all the kind of things, and a bike against the tree and whatever. And then these two new ET aliens just appear. And they're like, you must help ET. We are the Skargalax, and we're here to tell you that if you don't help E.T., he will die. So then you go on the ride, and my favorite thing about the E.T. ride is at the beginning, they're like, what's your name? And you're like, Gary, and they're like, next. And you're like, Gavin, and they're like, next. And you get up there, and you're like, Boobies, and they're like, Sam, next. Anyway, that'll come into effect in a bit. You go on the ride, you do the movie, and right at the end of the movie, E.T. then you do the bike ride. You do the Elliot.
Yeah.
When you go past the moon.
DreamWorks, you know.
And you're on this like little mechanized bike thing, like that's the carriage you're in. It's cool, it's fine.
Not DreamWorks.
And then, for whatever fucking reason, Spielberg was like, in the ride, I would like you to go to E.T.'s home planet, and I would like you to see more wacky, crazy aliens from the E.T. home planet. So you do.
Do they all look like E.T.?
Oh, it's insane. The character designs in the E.T. home planet are clearly fucking knockoff rejects of nightmarish proportions. There's like mushrooms with their heads panned in and just like a pair of googly eyes, so and all these other weird little fucking gremlins and ghouls and ghosts and
it's like
blobs.
Broken alien animatronics from other rides. They thought, fuck it, just chuck it.
But that's what it feels like, right? And then there's like a couple of bigger ETs and a few little ETs, and they're all running around, and they're like bursting out of the fucking fog machine. And then you get to the end of the ride, and then there's the fucking money shot moment where ET is there and he's waving. He's like, goodbye, Gary. Goodbye, Sam. Goodbye, Haley. And you're like, what about me? And he's like, goodbye. Ba 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 ba. Good. And it's the best thing. He's never said my name, and I think if I went on the ET ride and he did say my name, I would be truly disappointed.
How many times did you go on the ET ride?
This time once, because it's fucking terrible.
How many times in total have you been on it?
Good God. When I was a kid, I loved it. I remember me and my mum went on it a bunch.
But he's never said Gary.
Never said Gary.
What is it about Gary?
Little fuck.
You can't say. You're like, this is it. This is the time. Goodbye. You're like, fuck.
Goodbye, Elliot. All right, so that's the ET ride. Universal's, like most of Universal's park is kind of designed around movies that they turned into rides, because there's Men in Black, there is obviously the Harry Potter worlds, They've got Jurassic Park there now. Like
Or
Universal
Jurassic World.
Sorry, yeah. Universal are really leaning into the kind of like, we have IPs, let's make them into rides.
I mean, Jurassic Park / Jurassic World seems like the easiest. We've got the movie, let's turn it into a theme park. Surely that
You'd think, right? But then they've got a water ride where you're on a boat. It's a log flume, like basically, and you go through a Jurassic Park containment section, and then they're like, "Oh, the T-Rex has escaped!" Yeah, and there's like some raptors which run past the boat and you're in it, and some rustling shit. And it's kind of like nothing. And then you go down. You're just as you're about to do the big drop in the water, the T-Rex animatronic goes, "Ah!" And it's kind of scary. And then you splash, and then you get off the ride. And I'm like. And then their other Jurassic Park ride is the Velocicoaster, which is
great, coolest fucking name ever.
Fucking great name. And also fucking probably the best roller coaster I've ever been on. That's just a pure roller coaster. You'll find out why I've said that in a second.
Okay.
Because it's a fucking great coaster. But like, what's the theme of that? Like the theme is you're running with the raptors, I think, or you're like on a bike with the raptors.
Why is this raptor doing a loop-de-loop?
Well, exactly. It's fucking weird. So yeah, the other thing. So yeah, I think we've been talking about this for fucking ages, and the rest of these ones I kind of just want to cherry pick. Right, the two more standout rides, and these are truly the best. My favorite rides that are good in keeping with the movies and just fucking incredible. And then everything else you can quick fire if I like it or not, or just whatever you want to do. The two final ones I want to talk about. The first one is the Hagrid's motorbike ride.
I did want to ask about
Holy fuck! So that is a ride that you walk through. The theming is once again fucking incredible. The Harry Potter Hogwarts ride is the theming might be the best in that queue. Full stop. Because the Harry Potter Hogwarts ride you go through Dan Radcliffe.
Emma Watson
and Rupert Grint have filmed sections, and they like pop up and they talk to you. The paintings are moving, they talk to you. It's a fucking long, or it used to be a long queue. It's like not long anymore because it's not as popular. But the queue is fucking incredible. You're walking through Hogwarts, you see the Mirror of Erised, you go through the fucking dungeons, you go through the potions class. Great. The Hagrid's one has kept that up. You're going through the Fantastic Forest, you're going through Hagrid's hut and all this other shit. But then the ride, and this is kind of like, without ruining it, because I don't want to spoil it if anyone's ever planning on going Universal, which might be nobody, but just in case, it's a roller coaster. It's a fun roller coaster. It's not the most intense roller coaster, and it's probably like good for like young, like 8-year-old kids. You know what I mean? It's nothing mental. But then they've themed the roller coaster to fit in with the story of the ride, and there are so many fucking incredible like
touches,
tricks and twists and turns. Like, how do you make a roller coaster tell a story and then have that story have a twist? I'll let you ride it and find out, but holy fuck, it's incredible. Like, genuinely, Gav, I can't explain how fucking good it is. And I don't want to ruin that one because it's so new. Like, it's like, just in case.
The issue with that is I think Hagrid is one of the most useless, pointless, shit characters to ever happen to cinema or books, and I hate him, so I'll never support his ride.
Well,
fuck Hagrid.
You're missing out. The other one, and this is my this used to be my like absolute favorite, and it's because it kind of ticks all the same boxes that Hagrid does. The Mummy Returns roller coaster.
That's one that's been around for
ages,
forever, and I always hear about
The Mummy Returns, and it's because it's fucking incredible. Or is it the Mummy? It might just be the Mummy ride. I can't remember.
Does it have Dwayne The Rock Johnson as a big scorpion?
No, it might just be the Mummy ride, but I feel like it's called the Mummy Returns.
So it's been around since the early 2000s.
Yeah. And again, you go in, so that ride is set within a gigantic, you walk into like a museum looking thing. You're walking through it. The ride has these screens. Brendan Fraser himself has recorded sections so that and he's playing a character which is Brendan Fraser who filmed The Mummy. And he's kind of like playing the movie diva, and he's like, there's no curse, there's no, and like the story of the ride is that like the ride is cursed and the film is cursed.
That is cursed.
Yeah. Like that's the vibe of it. And there's all these like things that you can touch. And there's one bit where you have to put your hand on something, and then somebody in the other queue on the other side of the room. So you can't be your friend because you're like 20 minutes. I don't have any. 20, well, because you're like 20 minutes of queue apart, but you both have to touch something, and then the ceiling fucking comes to life, and you hear scarab noises. There's one bit. I'm spoiling all this one because this one's been there for 20 fucking years. There's a one bit where there's a thing. There's like a hole. And through it is the bracer. It must be The Mummy Returns, actually.
Maybe it's just a combination of both.
Yeah, in the hole is the bracer. It's like floating there, and I remember being like, "What the fuck is that?" And like, I was like, "I'm gonna
Gary this.
I'm gonna grab that." So you put your hand in the hole and you go to touch it, and it's one of those, the Parallax 3D hologram that makes the floating hologram. It's one of them, so you can't touch it. But when you put it in, there's a fucking motion sensor, so it goes psst, and it sprays your hand with something, and I'm like, oh fuck! And obviously you're surrounded by random people, so everyone's like, ha ha ha! Worst moment of my life.
Worst moment of
it was funny as fuck. And I'm like, but it's like so good that there's all these things. So the ride has a story. Brendan Fraser himself is telling you the story, plus fake directors and fake PAs and shit. There's all these like jokes and in-jokes and memes about it. If you're like a big fan of the ride, like all the lovers of the can quote the fucking preamble to you, which I love. I think that's fucking awesome. Then you go on the ride, and the ride is like just a roller coaster way. It's an indoor roller coaster where you're going around and like there's mummy, like, oh, there's the mummy picture, and you go past the sarcophagus, and it's kind of like a fairly nippy roller coaster. You don't get to take much in. And eventually you go around a corner, you do like a final little drop, and you come up. And you're there, and then there's where the ride attendant is, and the thing's like frosted, but the room's lit, so you can see them like moving around in there.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey guys, that's the end of the ride. Hope you enjoyed The Mummy Returns. Give me 3 seconds. I'm just gonna get you out of that ride. Wait a minute, what are you doing in here?" And then the room fills up with flies. Then in front of you, fucking Imhotep's face like comes out of the wall, and he's like, "None shall escape from the mummy." Flames on the ceiling, and then the ride continues with another fucking sick drop, and you're just back into it after this like set piece in the middle of a roller coaster. Holy fuck, it's incredible.
It's like we talked about 2 episodes ago when we were saying is Hollywood lazy. If you've got vision, you put passion, and you put time into your roller coaster or your theme park ride, you're going to see the reward of it, because that's the ride. It came out in the early 2000s. And then when I was doing my research and I was watching stuff and reading stuff, people were still talking about that mummy ride.
But it holds up. It's fucking incredible. Like, yeah, and it's a 25-year-old coaster at this point. 20-year-old coaster?
Like we talked about Tower of Terror earlier, that's decades old, and it's still one that people are like, it's incredible.
Yeah, and it's because the ride at the end of the day is the ride, but it's everything. If that mummy roller coaster just existed in a fucking open warehouse, it would be middling. Everything that goes around it, the preamble, the curse, all those little things, all those touches, the fact that the ride stops and then continues and has like a little trick moment. Chef's fucking kiss. It's so fucking good. So yeah, they're the ones I wanted to talk about. The Back to the Future one, which you asked very quickly, used to be Back to the Future. Doc Emmett Brown himself is like, we gotta get back in time, and that was more fucking Winston Churchill. But
we'll find him on the picture.
He like comes out, and you basically get in a DeLorean. It then pushes you up into a room, and it's a clever way of them like getting a load of cars into a smallish space. Pushes you up into this room, which has a fucking massive screen. It was like a not 3D, but like early curved, projected screen. So it's massive and it's projected. So you look up, it's there. You look around you, it's there. You know what I mean? It's massive. But then there's like 30 cars in this one room, and then it's just like a like a moving. You don't go anywhere.
You're kind of like a gimbal, just moving.
Yeah, you're gonna go and it's and then the things happening in front of you. And it was fine. It was absolutely fine. I just think Back to the Future obviously it had 3 movies in the 80s, and it's not had anything since.
None of them are actually that good, and they're really overrated. Here are the closing.
You want me to come at you?
No, we'll talk about Back to the Future another time. That's a whole episode.
But I think that's why they changed it to The Simpsons, and now you go through it. You're in the it's a new Krusty Land ride. You get in it, you get pushed up into
Krusty Land.
Yeah, Krusty Land. You get, because that's what the whole Simpsons area is. It's all Krusty Land theme. Ooh. You get pushed up, and then Sideshow Bob, and like the Simpsons ride, fair play to them, is a real like love letter to the Simpsons. Every character gets like a little moment, and
yeah, you can go to like Moe's bar and stuff and get.
It's
like
cool.
Yeah,
it's really fucking cool. But yeah, I miss the Back to the Future ride.
Here's my closing question, and then I'll do some quick fire because we ran so long. With this closing question, you can't give a long answer. You need to give a short.
I'll give you a short.
This one's better. That one's better. There's the other kind of big experience that is only allowed for certain franchises, i.e. Harry Potter or Star Wars. You've got the massive
I
Harry
didn't even talk
Potter.
about Star Wars rides.
I know that's why I'm doing it for you. You've got the massive Harry Potter world where you can go to get your wand and you can go and get a butterbeer, and they put you in the world of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And then there's the Star Wars one where you can go and
That
you can
too.
build your own lightsaber.
Fucking incredible.
And all pretend you're using the Force. Those are I've known people have gone to them. They absolutely love them. It's an experience that goes beyond a ride, so it doesn't really fall into our theme park ride topic. So that's why we're not talking about it. That's the reason, and not because we've gone way over time.
I want to talk about it a little bit, real quick.
Fuck.
Just real quick, because why not? While we're here, fuck it. We've done long episodes before. The Hogwarts world is very, very cool. They've got Diagon Alley now, so you can walk through that. I really like it.
You know,
the Harry
Diagon
Potter
Alley is diagonal.
diagonally, mate, nocturnally. If you can go through it and
That's
you
an
walk
Easter
through
egg.
it, there's at least find out what it means. You walk through it, and it's nice. It's really cool, and you do feel like you're in, the Hogwarts magical land. No denying it. However, Disney have took that idea and just fucking shat all over it with their Star Wars land. Disney's Star Wars land is top to bottom incredible. It's the two Star Wars rides in that, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, also two of my absolute favorite rides. They're so fucking cool and clever. I won't talk about them, don't worry, Gav. But when you're in the world, you again download an app. It only works in Star Wars land. It makes you into a bounty hunter, or you can be a rebel fighter, or you can join the not rebellion, the Empire, the Empire. So you can join the Resistance Rebellion, or you can join the Empire. You do missions, which make you walk around. You've got to find secrets. You've got to speak to cast members. When I was in Star Wars land, I wasn't dressed up, and on top of that, you do have people that are all dressed up and just in there, and they're in their Jedi's outfit.
Losers.
They got their lightsabers.
Slack-jawed losers.
You've got people wearing Empire outfits. You've got stormtroopers walking around. Kylo Ren kicks through. You've got rebels hiding in the fucking stores, hey, come here, I need you to make a distraction so I can get past these stormtroopers. And I'm like, hey, stormtroopers, look at me. And then the rebel runs off and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know, I panicked. But the fact that all this is going on,
world building, and it also is bringing you into the world.
It's incredible. It's actually genuinely, and this is a very small cherry on what is already a fucking decadent cake. The Smuggler's Run ride has a high score attached to it. You get credits based on how well you and your team do, right? I went on it, loved it, thought the ride was fantastic, got my high score. I was like, that's cute, you get a high score. And I only signed up to the Star Wars app thing in the final 2 days we were in the park, because I was kind of I just don't want to get lost. If it's too close to a video game or a Pokemon Go style thing, I will ruin this holiday by saying to Hannah, we need to go back because I have to sign in.
I need all the collectibles.
I need to get all the collectibles, right? So I only signed into it the last 2 days. We went on the 2 Star Wars rides in the last 2 days again. And again, tiny cherry on the cake. When you do the Smuggler's Run thing, the Millennium Falcon ride, if you have the app and you've got it activated, the points you score in the ride transfer to the app. So it's not just an arbitrary high score.
Yeah,
it's a physical currency that you then get to buy. Don't get me wrong, dog shit. It's just all fake fucking costumes and stuff for your avatar in the Star Wars app.
Okay.
So it's nothing. It's not like it's worth. You know what I mean?
But it's gamifying it, and
But I when it transferred across, and I got the little achievement saying you completed Smuggler's Run. Here's your Smuggler's deposits. Good job. Next time, try not to blow up as many beryllium crystals. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Clicked it, and it was like, you've had 10,000 credits deposited to your account. I was like, that's the fucking coolest thing. It's so...
You turned and looked at Hannah and went, we're in trouble. Because I'm going to make this my life now.
Thank fuck we're leaving.
Thank fuck we have a flight to catch.
But yeah, long story short, my final closing statements. You ask me these questions, and I'll give you my closing statement. Do you want to do these questions, or do you want me to just fucking rattle off?
Give me your closing statement.
My closing statement is when Disney or Universal or whoever wants to put their fucking money and their mind behind it and create these franchises, that are movie based, but then can expand into these physical places. When it's done well and it's done correctly, it is genuinely some of the most magical moments out there. Like I refuse to believe, and I refuse to accept anyone that says that going to Star Wars land and having all these Star Wars moments, if you're a Star Wars fan, isn't some of the best time of your life. Doing the Avatar ride, like these key moments are just so fucking cool. And because they can expand the lore in either the film or the ride, or they can add
like
or
E.T.
Well, I mean, sometimes it misses, but for a lot of it, like you already love these IPs, and then going on a ride that then has a reference to something that only makes sense if you've seen the films, or vice versa. Like the films referencing something in the land or the ride, like doesn't mean shit to anyone. And when the film says, "Oh, well, Captain Gargablack," and you're just like, that's a Star Wars name, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
It's a passing comment. And to people that love the ride, they're like, holy fuck, Captain Gargablack
From
just
that
got
book that I read
you know what
in
I mean?
like 1998.
When it all comes together and it really fucking does it, again, like Paco says, those hills really sing. It's just fucking great. And I'm all for it. I want there to be more. I would spend so much money if it was in the UK. I would absolutely be a pass holder, and I'd go all the fucking time.
Here are my quick fire questions that I'm going to present to you to finish out the episode.
Are they yes or no's?
Yes or no's?
Okay.
No, some are yes, some are like you need to like. But
I'll be quick.
I want 1 to 5 word answers, no long diatribes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is the best theme park movie ride?
I think it's Hagrid's motorbike ride.
Okay. Does the quality of the ride constitute the quality of the movie?
Absolutely not. King Kong is a fun ride, and the first King Kong film kind of sucks ass.
Does a certain type of ride adapt better into a movie?
No. Rides, I think it's dependent movie to movie. Some rides have had like Fast and Furious had dog shit bus ride compared to King Kong, which is the same bus ride but done well. It like makes no sense. It just, if the team doesn't have their heart in it, it feels like the ride suffers.
What movie should be made into a ride?
Oh fuck! You should have given me time for this one.
No, you don't get no time. I've got the answer if you want it.
You've got the answer?
Yeah.
You give me your answer.
Star Trek.
Fuck off.
Easy as that. There used to be the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas, then they shut it down. Just give me a fucking bridge and I can do Star Trek. Easy. I get to be the captain and
Let's
tell
go to
people
London.
what to do.
Do that Star Trek thing.
I want a
£60
proper
ticket.
one with like they've got the Disney money behind it.
Yeah,
you know?
that would be good.
Last question, and then we're going to be closing out the episode. What ride should be made into a movie?
I would love to see what ride should be turned into a movie. This is going to be such a wanky answer because it kind of already is a movie, but I just love it so much. I just want to see more of it. Disney's Filler Magic, which it's actually a terrible answer because it is a fucking 6-minute film that you watch, but it's a 3D film, and again, Disney Magic, like you're watching it on a screen, which is like a theater screen, and then the lights. Holy fuck! I didn't even talk about Muppet Vision.
Nope,
Sorry,
you don't get it.
But you watch it on a screen, and then the lights go off, and then again, Disney Magic, everything just disappears, and without realizing it, the whole fucking the room becomes the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like there's curtains and shit, and then
They have curtains?
it's like a theater. You're like watching a theater, like a tiny stage section. Then all this shit happens, and then all of that just magically goes away when the lights are out. But it just doesn't let you notice that. Oh, it's great, and it's already a film, but I would love more of that.
Thank you for that quick fire answer. This
You can't.
has been the Meandering Movie Podcast, where we have
can't
discussed
spool me up.
theme park movie.
You can't
You're
spool-
done. Nope,
You
you're done.
can't-
You can't talk anymore. This is the
You
outro.
can't spool me.
The
You can't be
outro
like, hey,
is
Gary, we're
my
gonna talk about
space.
something that you fucking
The
genuinely
space
love
where
and care about.
I do the outro is my space.
Also, I'm going to stop you talking about it.
This has been the Meandering Movie Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on this ride with Gary into the world of theme park movie rides.
I'm sorry that wasn't the funniest episode, but I you know what? You got to hear me gush about stuff. I hope
Hey,
that was
we
a
love
treat
a passionate
in itself.
Gary. I love a passionate Gary. I had so much fun. This has been a great episode. If you want more of this nonsense, go down into the description. You will find links to all of our stuff. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Threads. We're always doing stuff. We're always making fun stuff. Gary might have a baby when this comes out. He might not. We don't know yet. We'll have to soon find out.
I won't have a baby
Keep
when
an
this
eye
comes
on our
out.
socials and we'll find out. Thank you for listening. I love you.
Music is alive.
It's meandering movies. It's meandering movies. It's meandering movies.